Okay, I'm at Walmart and I need some electrical tape. Don't ever buy cheap electrical tape. There's Super 33 Plus. The job I used to have, I did custom audio video installs like home theater system. My supervisor said, don't ever buy anything other than Super 33 Plus. We are.
Yeah.
But I have a bigger belly.
I can. This is what a day in the work office looks like. I'm gonna come into frame.
Okay. Wait, let me get focused first.
I want to buy this person. No, what do you want to dog? This is Zurich. He's the new Rotor Riot pilot. I'm wondering, who's the next Rotor Riot pilot? It's a dog. Get over it. I
want to show the lighting setup in here because I'm really happy with it. Mm-hmm. But I need you to stay there. Okay. I have, so right now the audience can look in the lens, so the audience can see how it looks. See, looks great. So little thought behind what I did here is I like a very, very broad, soft look for the key lighting, and I always like a good edge, like there, because I like to separate the subject from the background. I like to have my aperture open so we have a bit of depth of field, so it's a little blurrier back here and sharper here. Then I put a lot into my set lighting, which that's pretty much all the lights you see in the background there. So you got this light here, which is just a down light. We got these little old-timey lights, and we have this light. And most of the stuff is, the fixtures are from IKEA. I do all this stuff super on the cheap, so I'm gonna back up here. Drew, you stay there. So you can see that is a China ball, literally purchased from IKEA. A China balls cost about $5, and the bulbs in it are just 5,500 K bulbs. Kelvin. Yeah. Temperature. And they're just bought at the hardware store. You can typically find them. They're called daylight balanced. And I got a little fixture where you can put, hold on, I have one of these in it, which allows you to take two bulbs and put them together. So I got 200 watt equivalent bulbs. So there's like 200 watt daylight equivalent LED bulbs in there. This up here is a daylight balanced spotlight with a work light fixture. And then that's a piece of PVC pipe that is called a snoot. And this snoot allows you to direct the light, so it's a very narrow focus as to where it hits.
That's the edge light, right?
Yeah, yes. So look back towards where the camera would be. So from back here, it just looks like it's heavy front light, but when you swing around to this side, see how that edge gives you a nice little edge. So these are the old-timey lights. Now, if you buy these at like a designer store, like these cages and that, like it's really expensive. But I buy this stuff at the hardware store because it's much cheaper. These are just like little fixtures with a cord, and they're super cheap. They're like, I don't even know, $4 or maybe $3. And then the cages are like actual protection cages at the hardware store, and those are another, I don't know, $5 or something. But if you buy the designer ones, everything costs like $30 per fixture. And then over here, it looks like outside. Doesn't it look like outside, Drew?
That's not outside?
Nope, that's not outside.
What?
Yeah. So let's go on the other side and take a look. So I actually built this out over here, and I have to, it's kind of ridiculous.
It is.
So I got a Christmas tree up there. I cut a window in and went and bought an old window, and I have a couple spotlights up there. And then there's this bright light right here. That's a big LED shop light that hits a big diffusion panel there. And the key is just to add a bunch of light that makes it look like daylight. And then you go back over here and you can see what it looks like. But like I said, I put a lot more work into my set lighting than, you know, the other stuff. So that's that. The other thing is using dark colors, and this is like paneling, but I make it look old. And that pipe is, people are gonna think I'm just weird and obsessive, but that pipe is like plastic PVC pipe, and then I painted it and made it look all like rusted and janky. Oh, and then these beams too. I bought these beams at an old like reclamation place.
Like, I always want links. And all this stuff, you've explained this to me before, but until we went to the hardware store, I just saw you pick it out. I'm like, oh my God, it's actually really easy.
Yeah.
And what's funny is we were setting up a studio in my basement so I can record Rotor Riot content stuff in Detroit as well. And we were like, oh, you gotta set this up. And we like went to an antique store and they had something like just like this. I think it was like 3 of them. It was like $85.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I guess that's what it costs. And he like laughed at me. We went to Menards. This was like $5, and then the cage was another $2, and then the fixture itself was like $3.
Yeah,
it's so cheap to make this.
Yeah,
so cheap.
It looks cool. Thanks for your help on this, Drew.
Thank you, Chad. Always a pleasure to be a guest star on your vlog. Link to my channel in the description.
Okay, this is a very basic light bulb. It's an LED bulb meant to replace a standard incandescent bulb. I think it's equivalent to, this one's equivalent to about a 60 watt, but typically I'll buy the 100 watt bulbs. And this is at a 5500 Kelvin. So that's the color temperature of it. It's a cooler temperature, which gives you a more accurate color reproduction. This is one of the larger spotlight type of lights. It is also an LED fixture, and it just screws into a regular base. But I also have these at 3000 Kelvin, which is a warmer color temperature, like you'll see in the fake window that I have set up. These little guys I like to use for backlights or edge lighting. They're really small, but you can still get them in a higher wattage equivalent. This one is a 5000 Kelvin, and it's like 8 watts, but it's equivalent to more of like a probably like a 60 watt bulb, and it's only 8 watts that it uses. This is a standard base again, but it is a filament type of bulb, and it's that old Edison type of look. They look great. I think they're not very expensive, and you can find them at most of the hardware stores nowadays. It's always good to have a couple of these on hand. This is when you need more lighting power. You need more oomph from your lights, but one bulb isn't enough, and allows you to use 2 bulbs in one fixture. And so this is one of those super cheap work lights, and I buy these. I probably have, I don't even know, 24 of these. I buy these all the time because you can use it just as a regular clamp-on light, which is nice, or you can take it off of the fixture and just use this piece here as a to use just a bare bulb, or just, you know, a ceiling fixture that hangs down. This is one more thing I wanted to show you. It's a wireless remote control outlet, but the nice thing is they're really super cheap, but they work really well. And it's good if you want to have different lights hanging, or different lights adjusted for different things, and you want to turn them on and off separately without having to go unplug the cord. I like talking tech. I like, you know, showing little tricks that I've learned over the years. With my production company, we got to the point where we were renting gear and spending so much money on production equipment and lights and expensive cameras, and I really enjoy using the cheap stuff and getting high quality out of it. Even the camera that I'm using, it's a Canon T6i, which is considered a consumer grade camera. The cameras that we used to use for my production company were, I mean, bare minimum $2,500 all the way up to, you know, $30,000. I think it's really phenomenal and amazing that under $1,000 you can get camera, lights, everything you need to shoot something amazing. So I hope by sharing that with you guys, you get inspired, and maybe you can try some stuff. And if you do, share it with me. I would love to see it. Just put it in the comments and I'll take a look. So hopefully that was inspiring or educational for you. And if you want to see more like this, let me know. So until next time, see you later.
People get confused. Companies get confused. When they start getting bigger, they want to replicate their initial success. And a lot of them think, well, somehow there's some magic in the process of how that success was created. So they start to try to institutionalize process across the company. And before very long, people get very confused that the process is the content. And that's ultimately the downfall of IBM. IBM has the best process people in the world. They just forgot about the content. And that's what happened a little bit at Apple, too. We had a lot of people who were great at management process. They just didn't have a clue as to the content. And in my career, I found that the best people, you know, are the ones that really understand the content, and they're a pain in the butt to manage, you know? But you put up with it because they're so great at the content. And that's what makes great products. It's not process, it's content.